everyone, I'm Ruth, and today I want to talk about a subject that really brought me into becoming a mother. And I know that I am greatly fortunate and hugely blessed to be in that position, to be a mum, because it doesn't happen for everybody and it's not easy for everybody. In fact, it's not easy for anybody, but it's slightly easier for some than it is for others. So I wanted to share my story. I know that what happened to me is hugely common. Parts of it are hugely common, parts of it maybe not so much, but people just don't talk about this as very much, and I know that I don't either. I don't like to make myself out to be someone who wants pity or sympathy, or I don't want the attention for it. I prefer to just get on with things, but I also feel like I want to share my story because it might empower some people to think there is light at the end of the tunnel. So here is today's story. Like I said, I am very fortunate to be a mum, and like I said, some aren't so fortunate, but I also had the misfortune of a few bumps along the way. Not the kind of pregnancy bump that I was hoping for initially, but bumps that made the journey a little more complicated. I was someone who always wanted a family. I love kids, I love young people, I love babies too, but I wasn't that person who just wanted to have a baby because it's so exciting to have a baby. I wanted a family. I wanted the adventure of growing a family, having kids, to go on the adventure with you, to watch them grow and learn myself as well, and have that whole experience. And that was something that I really wanted in life. So I had got married in my mid-20s, and we had these plans that we were going to enjoy married life just as a couple for a while and settle into that and settle into careers, because we were kind of fresh out of university and things at that stage, and just settling into being adults, I suppose. And we thought maybe 5 years down the line we'll start a family then, once we're all settled and everything. However, it came to about that point, and my then husband decided he didn't want to have a family anymore, and this absolutely floored me. I was all geared up thinking this was the plan, this was what we'd agreed, you know, what we both wanted, and it seemed really unfair that he had changed his mind to me. But I thought, right, we can't compromise on that. Either we do or we don't have kids. And the more I thought about it, I realised, you know what, I made a commitment to you as my husband. We'll work on that. You know, I made a commitment to marriage, and that was a big thing to me, to try and work on my marriage and to solve all of that. However, we took a year where we tried to talk things out, we tried to work things out. He kept walking away, and in the end he just walked away for good. So that made it really difficult to start a family. I felt kind of hopeless and alone. My dreams for the future were just broken. It was bleak. I had no idea what my life was going to look like. I was about to turn 30, and in my head I had this whole biological clock ticking, but it all just seemed so like the end at the time. And I know I was in the throes of depression and everything too, but it just seemed like it was never going to happen, and in my head I was just going to be alone and childless, and that was that. It was a really dark time in my life, both in my head and just generally when I'm out and about and I saw people with babies or bumps, you know, they're pregnant, expecting, and I just found it really hard because everywhere I turned I was at an age where my friends were all having babies, and you go to the shopping centre and people are there with their babies and their buggies and all of that, and it just seemed so unfair to me at the time. But I kind of thought, do you know what, I'm going to resolve myself to not being this lonely spinster person. I'm going to make the most of this opportunity then to be a mother to many. So while I wasn't biologically a mother, I was going to care for the children and the young people that I was going to be working with, and they were going to be really important to me, and I was going to have an impact in their lives in ways that maybe their parents might not be able to have. So it seemed like an opportunity then, once I reframed what I was going through, and I thought, there is potential, there is light here that I can work with. However, I ended up meeting someone else a few years later, and we really hit it off. In fact, probably more so than I did with my first husband, and we got married and took a little bit of time enjoying life as a couple and being married and everything, but in my head still there was this biological clock thing ticking, so we decided to start trying for a family. We were very fortunate in that we got pregnant within about 3 or 4 months of starting to try, and it was very exciting. We couldn't believe it had happened so quick, because we thought this would be, you know, a year or something. You know, we didn't expect it to be as quick at all, and we were so excited, and I spent a lot of time sort of psyching myself up, and I would in my head be talking to this baby, or if I'm out driving in the car I was talking to the baby, and getting myself so built up for it, and then at about week 8 we had a bit of bleeding, and that's when the wheels fell off there for that pregnancy. We miscarried and we lost that baby, and I remember the weekend before going for the scan to confirm or to check that everything was okay or whatever, we were out with friends, and it was friends who all have kids, and some of them were talking about some of their difficulties they had getting to the point of having a family and everything, but in my head all I could think was, that's it over, that I have no hope, it's not happening, but also just trying to have hope at the same time, thinking, you know what, I've been through so much, with thinking I was never even going to get married again, never mind have the opportunity to have a family. So it was an interesting weekend. And then we went to the maternity unit on the Monday to get a scan, see what was happening. We're sitting in the corridor just waiting to be called in. There's posters all up about, you know, vaccinations to get during your pregnancy, and all of that. I remember at the time just thinking it was really insensitive. I sort of felt like, that's not fair. It's just not fair. And it's not fair, it's horrible. It is horrible when you lose a baby. It is sad, and it broke our hearts. But being the positive people that we are, we thought, right, okay, we'll get on, we'll try again, and hopefully it'll work out better next time. We're not going to give up at this first hurdle. So we were lucky enough to get pregnant again about 2 or 3 months after that, I think 3 months after that, and yeah, we were very successful with that pregnancy, and that's the one that made me a mum. I look back on my pregnancy with my son, and I think about how I didn't talk to my bump, my baby in my belly as much as I did with the first pregnancy, and I feel a little guilty about that sometimes, but I know I've made up for it plenty now that he's here. But I just find it really quite difficult to make that connection after having lost the first one, to have those conversations, to talk to my baby. It maybe took till I was about 6 or 7 months pregnant, to be able to have conversations with my bump. And maybe you're looking at me now and thinking, flip, she's crazy talking to her bump, but I think it's a fairly normal thing for mums to do, I'm hoping. But yeah, we were very fortunate then that we were able to have our little boy. I'm so thankful that we did have that opportunity, because I know that my path hasn't been without its issues. I would love to hear your stories about maybe how you became a parent, or some of the difficulties you have had as well. I really want to share and learn from other people, but I'm hoping that my story helps to encourage others too, and inspire others to maybe open up and talk, or to not feel so alone in the world. If you have anything that you want to share, feel free to get in touch. My email will be in the description of this video, as well as there's the comments below. So until next time, thanks for listening.